Peppermints and post. The names are getting progressively worse. Peppermints and postcards, starring Ella Cannon and Christopher Russell.
The worst kind of candy meets the worst kind of mail.
That's it, dude.
Circus peanuts. Jiffy Lube ads.
It's like it's circus peanuts and prayer chain emails. Hey everybody, we are back with another episode of Growing Up Christian. I'm Sam.
I'm Casey.
And Casey, we're going to talk about my night for a second because I found one of the greatest television shows of all time. And it's mind-boggling that we don't know about this. If you already know about it, I'll kill myself live on air. Because we would have talked about it if you knew about it. It's shocking that this is a show. And I watched some of it and holy fucking shit, man. I cannot wait to talk about it. But before that, I found it tonight. And we'll piggyback on why in a second. But I did want to bring this up too, because so my kids, 8 and 5, very much, they were playing checkers tonight. My daughter's been learning how to play chess, and it's tough. You know, chess is a strategic game. It's not an easy game for 8-year-olds to play, but she really enjoys it. She's been getting better at it. And while they're playing checkers and whatever, it made me think of the last time that they were playing chess was with I forget who was playing. It might have been my daughter and my foster son. So they're playing chess. I think everyone who's a regular listener knows, but my foster son, he's 20 years old now. He's been with us for on and off since he was 10. Now he's 20. He permanently moved in with us when he was 16 years old. So that's just a little bit of the preface. My kids only remember him living with us. Neither of them have recall a time where he had moved in. It's just, as far as they know, he's their big brother. He's lived with us their entire lives. That's their only recollection at this point. And but what's funny is, you know, we don't have a ton of like race conversations, right? My foster son's black. We don't have a lot of race conversations. It's just kind of like, you know, it's normal for them to have their older brother's black. They don't really, it doesn't come up a lot, but so when they play chess, my daughter's just like, you know, white always goes first. And my foster's like, yeah, of course. Yep. No, I get it. White goes first. That makes sense. And she's like, why are you saying that? And he's like, I'm just saying white goes first, but black's better. Black's definitely better. But white does go first, but black is better, but white goes first. And she's like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, why are you doing this? It seems like forced. She doesn't get it. And he just keeps rolling with it. And after like 10 minutes of him trying to like make these jokes about how like he likes to be black, he likes to go, but wishes black could go first, whatever. He's just rolling with these jokes for a while. Like me and my wife are laughing about it. And then all of a sudden my 6-year-old, he's like, wait a second. Are you saying that because you're black? And that's like the hardest I've seen my foster son laugh in so long. Like, we all lost it. We thought it was the funniest fucking thing. He made the connection. He picked up on the joke and we were dead, man.
How old is he?
He's 6. And he's like, wait, are you saying that because you're black?
This is a sharp kid.
Yeah. And he didn't mean black as in black in chess.
Right.
He got it. He figured it out, which was really funny. Uh, Anyway, so that I thought about that while they were playing chess. But while they were playing chess is when so my wife and I had been watching on Netflix The Lincoln Lawyer. That's one of the worst names for a television show I've probably ever heard. But I do like the show. There's some like cheesiness to it. There's some corny ass characters, but overall, it sucks me in. I guess I could say it's a guilty pleasure, but I don't know. I just like it. Whatever. There's some hokiness to it, but it's fun. Courtroom dramas are fun. And then you watch like the way like legal shit plays out. It's all fascinating. Guilty or innocent doesn't matter. Everyone does their best job to either prosecute or defend. I don't know. There's just some fun elements to it. Having a good time with it. So I Googled tonight courtroom dramas because I feel like we watched a lot for a while. There's some British ones that my wife and I watched, and we had some fun going through some of those. And I'm like, we're always looking for a new show that we'll both like because I like a lot of shit that she doesn't. She likes shit I don't. But we like to always have at least a show that we're watching together. So I Google courtroom drama TV show, and the internet delivered. Have you heard of a show called Gary Busey, Pet Judge?
Yeah, I have
You
heard of
have?
it.
No way!
You have to Bud Dwyer yourself now.
Now I have to kill myself on the podcast. Fuck.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
haven't, I
God.
haven't watched it. I've seen clips of it though. I
Wow.
was since I haven't actually seen it like on anything, I wasn't 100% sure that it wasn't just like a skit.
Yeah, it feels more like it should be. So I watched most of the first episode tonight. I think the most notable thing about Gary Busey in it is he looks like Jane Lynch if she was an even bigger lesbian. Like if Jane Lynch went like full blown butch, for lack of a better term, she would then it would have transfigured into Gary Busey in this. He looks terrible. Now, I actually think Jane Lynch looks great. So it's
Okay, yeah,
more
there you go.
it's
Walk that back
more of an
now.
indictment. No, Jane Lynch is fine. It's more of an indictment on Gary Busey looking like an older lesbian woman. He looks bad. So Gary Busey not looking great. I
He
swear
like
to
he's old. I
he's
mean,
old. Yeah, yeah.
he's old and he like lobotomized himself with like a Honda Shadow at some point.
I'm gonna find a still of him in it to put for the when we publish this episode. That's what I'll do because dude, he looks ridiculous, and it feels like a show where they did everything in one take. Like he stutters, he mumbles his words, and they don't. There was no retakes. He's just like, uh, and then he says it, and you're like, why? It feels like the worst produced show I've ever seen, and like the humor in it is awful. It feels like the episode I watched. It was a husband and wife whose cat died, and the husband wants to give the cat a traditional Viking funeral. So you put it out in the longboat and you shoot a bow at it and you set it on fire. And the wife has like some sort of mausoleum that she wants to put it in, and it's them just like presenting their cases for why. The concept is actually, I thought conceptually it wasn't a bad premise. I like the idea of putting a dead cat out on a longboat and setting it on fire. That's funny. Um, but the execution of it was awful. I mean, it's hard to find the words to explain how not funny it was. There's a
Did
lot
they
of
actually do it?
no, it's just all in the courtroom, and it's like
Okay.
it's just
Think
repetitive.
if
There's like
maybe it just like a like a rogue wave knocked it back to shore and it set like a whole bunch of cattails on fire and burned out a like a national wetlands or something.
right. It could be better that way, but instead it's just this guy's like, I want to do it, and he's like, well, did you check with the local environmental agencies to make sure that wasn't going to be a problem? And he's like, yeah. I talked to the guy, and he said it was fine. And you're like,
Yeah.
this
What
isn't
guy
funny.
did you talk to?
Dude, it's truly
That's one
awful.
question.
I honestly,
Did he just like go to the Chamber of Commerce and is like, all right, hypothetical here. If a guy was to push a boat out into the water and set it on fire, does that raise it? Like you have to layer in the premise like slowly,
I can't
like a
tell if it's
candy
improv
coating.
because it's I can't tell if some of it's improvised or scripted. And if it's scripted, that's more embarrassing.
I
Um,
don't think that that guy's capable of scripting anything. Like, if you follow, do you follow him on Instagram?
I don't, but that obviously was a mistake, and I need to start.
Yeah, you should. He like t- the things he says in typical Gary Busey fashion, like they make no sense. And as he's gotten older, they've just got like he's just not pronouncing words quite as succinctly,
Dude,
and the sentences are
I
stretched. But he's kind of like if you put Theo Vaughn in like a jerky machine.
oh my god, dude. Did you see that? Okay, I don't want to take a hard pivot right now, so hold on 1 second. Put a pin in Theo Vaughn. I think it probably is improv because it looks like Gary is scrambling to find like questions to ask these people for them to just parse out more. And like the conclusion is like, well, why don't you do that? But then before it burns to death, you bury it in the mausoleum. And everyone's like, that sounds like a good idea. And he's like, great. And it's like just not a funny finish. He's like, when if you set it on fire, it might create steam, and the steam might make the cat wet and prevent it from burning. It's like it feels like he's trying to say stuff uh, unscripted, and he just has no idea. Like there's a moment where he's like asking a question, and it looks like he has no idea what he's about to ask. And he's just struggling to come up with something. There's some stuttering, and then he asks something not funny that doesn't expand the premise. That's not like some yes and type improv shit. All of it is it's truly one of the worst things I've ever watched, and I'm really looking forward to watching some more of it. When
Yeah, it's
and
like
only when I'm abusing substances.
his brain functions like a couple of dolphins like pushing idea balls around, and some
Yeah.
of them just drift out to sea and never connect.
No, it's clear in the show that they don't. So everyone should. I tried. So when I found it, it was. I could only find it to purchase on Amazon, but the two worst streaming networks of all time managed to make that one available for free. If you want to find it on Pluto or Tubi, whatever is it Tubi? That one's bullshit, dude. Tubi's bullshit. And Pluto's so fucking stupid that like you open it and it automatically starts playing live TV for that's their thing. And it's like it's live TV. You're like, I don't
Oh, just what everybody wants.
yeah, because that we've all cut the cord so we can spend $300 a month on bullshit subscription services so we can get live TV. But when you open the app, it automatically starts playing something. And it's not fun. You can't make it. I'm like trying to pause it. You can't pause it. It's as live. It's like, hey, let's go back to 1998 when you couldn't stop your TV from doing stuff for a second, so you can get a snack. It's so stupid.
It's like,
Pluto sucks.
thank God I had Tubi so I can watch like Good Morning America. Like I'm eating breakfast at the Hampton Inn.
Yeah, I. What am I supposed to do without Fox and Friends? How am I supposed to know how to think? How am I supposed to enjoy like people who watch Fox and Friends like wake up in the morning and think that they're actually hanging out and having breakfast with their friends.
Yeah,
Uh,
seriously. Just that wonderful flow of stories where it's like, you know, and you catch like the closing bit of like a different of a discussion, and it's like, and so like in a lot of ways slavery was beneficial to
yeah.
Americans. Coming up,
Yeah. Yep.
doorbell camera catches a little kid saluting the flag on his way up to knock. It's like it's like the flow of their content. It's
It is.
terrible.
Uh, but anyway, I put a pin in Theo Vaughn when you mentioned it because Theo Vaughn recently had Tucker Carlson on his podcast. Did you watch
Oh
any of
yeah,
that?
I saw some clips from it. I meant to watch it and I haven't. I just haven't yet.
It was honestly hard to watch. Okay, Theo Vaughn is not a smart man. Um, he might say things occasionally where you're like, okay, that's an interesting take, but it's mostly an interesting take out of ignorance, I feel like. I don't think the conversation between the two, but what was funny in the clip that's circulating around a good bit is when they start talking about cocaine and using cocaine. But Tucker really tries to like walk a fine line there without like implicating himself too much with his like conservative religious right audience. But what I gathered from what I watched of that interview, which wasn't a ton of it, it was probably like 30 minutes that I watched, was that Tucker is probably not real. Like there, you can always gather at some point like that, like what Tucker was doing for Fox News was like this is what he had. Like this is his niche. He's probably not authentic. He's not a real he's not an honest actor in any of this. But then I learned about his history from other things, and I'm like, well, he's kind of just a shitty like chameleon. He's just a piece of shit with no morals and values that just does what he needs to do to be successful. And it's worked, but he kind of let his guard down a bit on Theo's podcast. And I think that's what's neat about what Theo does is he's so dumb that he lets other like
I
more.
don't think he's dumb. He's just like he's playing a character, I think.
I don't.
Like nobody listens to him like people don't listen to him in the same way that they listen to like shows where they're expecting like some big discussion, of like out of the box idea. Like they listen to him thinking you don't know what he's going to say. It's going to be
Yeah.
weird and probably funny.
Yeah, he's
But
very funny when he's with his statements. I don't think he's a very intellectual person. And I just from what I've seen, I just go, that was but he that allows him to pose questions in a very like normie fashion. And it also lets people, like I was saying, bring their guard down. And I think he really dropped Tucker's guard. And you could see Tucker trying to catch himself without saying too much, but wanting to engage in a conversation with like just a fun dude talking about the happenings of show business, right? Like, I don't know. It was a really interesting conversation. I feel like you got more out of that than you would if someone like Jon Stewart sat down to interview Tucker, where he would be like full guard. He's just talking to some goofball with a mullet. And he got into it, man. Like, there were moments where I forgot I hated Tucker Carlson. Like,
he's a weird guy. I don't know exactly what his deal is. He almost seems like
he's awkward.
he's sort of just like out to burn things is kind of what it feels like
Yeah.
now. Cuz like he's strange cuz he'll take like a contrarian stance on things that are like very acceptable normative conservative positions and people, and like he'll actually like poke the bear a little bit in that sense, but then he also does things that just make no sense where you're like, he can't possibly think that this con artist that says he had sex with Obama back in the 90s is legitimate. Like the guy is like obviously just a con man looking for another 15 minutes on screen.
Right.
And but I think he just likes causing chaos to some extent, you know. And he knows what gets clicks. I mean, that's a part of
Yeah.
it too, I
I feel
think,
like
is
he's
like
just a moneymaker.
having this like completely absurd guy on to like make these insane claims gets all the, basically free advertising on like every normal news outlet.
Right. Yeah. I think he's ultimately a valueless person. I don't think he has real values. I think he doesn't seem to have guilt or shame. I think he just is.
I don't think any of them have that.
No, they don't. I think that's a fair point. I don't think
He's
most
just
people,
better at exploiting it.
and
I mean,
which,
that's what it is. They're all the same. Like it's the same with him as it is with. I mean, Anderson Cooper is not
yeah,
much different than Tucker Carlson. He's just not as good at turning it into money.
right. Who's the one that said he was in the helicopter that took fire?
Oh yeah, was that Dan Rather?
Yeah, I think it was Dan Rather. Yep. It's
It was
like,
one of those.
but you're just like, what was that for? Why did you do that? Why did you feel like you had to like tell that story and spin that yarn? You're just like, dude,
With so
just
many people
have some
that could
integrity.
contradict you.
Right. That is crazy to be a public facing person like that and to blatantly lie when there's so many people who can call you to the carpet on that. I don't
I
know. I
think
mean, it's
for
just, it's
those
all
guys who
bullshit.
are older, like those older dudes, like they just never had to really worry about it all that much. Like, have you seen videos of Biden talking like back in the 90s? Like there's one that was going around a while back of him like he's
Yo,
talking,
yo,
he's like
yo, what's up, fellow kids?
yeah, no. This one he's like
He
got a
tries to
reporter
rap.
that's
He
asked well, he's
freestyles for a
asking him like
second.
some I'm sure that exists, but he's like being asked some like pointed questions about something in particular, and you could tell he's like irritated at the reporter, and so he just starts like sounding off about like his academic record and like how smart he is and stuff, and it's like none of it is true. Like he talks about like his college transcripts and things, and it's like yeah, this is totally false, but there was nobody to call him on that kind of stuff. But I just think that's what they did. Like
Dude, even if
yeah,
it wasn't false, I can't think if you're in an argument and someone says something and you don't have a good response and your go-to is to talk about your college degrees, you're wrong and you know nothing about what they're talking about. Like that is the like that's it's just not an actual argument. Like, oh, how dare you question me on that? I went to Harvard. It's like, so answer the fucking question then, dude, if you're so fucking smart.
yeah. I don't even remember what the
Let's just cite
context of the
credentials.
question was, but it was like he went like full Kenny Powers with it.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, dude. If your reaction to a question is to recite your credentials, then you don't know what you're talking. Then you're obviously wrong. You haven't thought about it, and you just that's just a defensive move to make yourself not look like a total asshole, which doesn't work.
There is a real art to being a good liar and knowing that, and it's like you can be really good at selling lies, but like you also have to be able to like keep track of your lies and know like where the boundaries are. Some people are really good at lying, but they aren't good at like determining whether they have the room or not,
Like
you
our
know?
old college friend,
Yeah.
where you like thought he was the coolest guy in the world for a year and a half, and then you realize that he made up so much of what he said. You're just like, oh, it's starting to come together now. It's nothing you
Exactly.
said is true. Yeah, they don't keep track. They're just it's too in the moment. They're telling in the moment lies. That works for like a shallow audience that doesn't have rapport or haven't known them and listened to their stories for several years. But
Well, and like yeah, like part of being a respectably good liar is you you should lie about things that you get something out of. Like if you're going to go out on a limb and sell a lie, like you better at least have a point to it and like get something out of it. And like if you just walk into any room and start making up a backstory for yourself, like you're going to get caught.
yeah, yeah,
These are all hypotheticals. I'm not saying that I don't like people who lie all the time, but at least be good at it, you know?
yeah. I like you insofar as I don't know you're lying. So keep it up, baby, and you'll be the coolest person ever.
The dangerous ones are the ones that work you individually.
Yeah, I mean
Like
you're in
they've
sales,
got
so you get it, man. You've that's the business. You just lie to people and take their money. So you
well yeah,
respect it, of course.
I mean that is the goal and that is what I do on a daily basis. If I was more successful at it, maybe I wouldn't have time to do this show.
Yeah, you were if you were more successful at it, you would have stuck with sales instead of being a sales manager. Being a sales manager is for people who can like, organize their folders on their computer, but they, don't have it in them to just do that 10-hour a day grind and have bullshit conversations endlessly.
I you know, it's like it's disturbingly accurate.
Yeah. I can manage
It's
this.
like
I can manage a bunch of liars but I can't like participate in it the same way that I used to when I was young. I mean, I just remember when even when I barely was a salesperson and sold Cutco knives in my freshman year of college, it was like, holy shit. Like the amount of your life force that is drained from doing some phone calls to strangers and then having to show up and do a presentation, and you're like, I hope this convinces them, but at the same time, the entire time in the back of your mind you're like, I'm not selling it, I'm wasting my time, I'm not making money. It's like the worst fucking feeling.
It is. It definitely is just draining. Yeah, like making cold calls is just, it's like once in a while you have like a triumphant moment where you're on top of the world and everything seems great and you're like, "Oh my god, I did so good on that. Like we're going to get all this business now, this and that and the other." But then like 9 times out of 10 you're just being treated like human scum.
Yeah,
Even
dude,
if
it's like,
even if you're not like trying to exploit, you're not trying to exploit anybody. You're literally bringing something that would help the person that you're talking to, but they still treat you like you're just trying to like get your fingers around their wallet chain while they're asking them about the fish picture on their shelf.
yeah. I mean, look, to be fair, you're an actual company selling a real product that has value. I think Cutco Knives was legitimately a fine company to work for.
I have a
They weren't
couple
a
Cutcos. They're all
they
right.
were they weren't a pyramid scheme, and they would incentivize their people. It was commission. They had a lot of great incentives to get you into it. You're like, if you're the top seller every month, they had like prizes for top sellers. There were vacations. There were great things. They they were fine to work for. You just have to be a salesman personality, and I wasn't, so I just was miserable. Um, but when I worked for Civic Development Group and there was no incentive, it was just base pay, no commission. You're a loser, calling losers. It was just rough. Um, but there was a there you would always cold call, but the when you when I would there was you would show up some days and be like, you're on like, the initial cold calls. Most of the time you would show up and you would do the calls that were like, you would just do the regular ass pitch. But some days you would get into work and they'd be like, "Hey, you're on." I forget what their term for it was, but um, this was a time where no one was giving their credit cards over the phone or anything. They would commit to they would commit to a certain amount, and you would mail out the mailer to them, and they would send back a check. So there were days that I would go to work and your only job that day was to just you would just be given you'd run through the list of people who committed but never sent back that mailer with the check. So it was like, hey, I know you got it, like it was mailed to you on such and such a date. Just want to make sure everything's all right and you're still ready to honor your commitment. And fuck, man, that was the absolute bottom of the barrel worst because the amount of
That
people
would
who
suck
there
so
were people,
bad.
yeah, dude, there were people who were like, yeah, I'm happy to give $500, and you would send them out the mail, and they wouldn't send it in. You'd call back, and you'd be like, yeah, you pledged $500 to support such and such. Just wanted to make sure everything's all right, and we can still expect that commitment from you. And they're like, dude, I fucking lied to your face to get you off the phone. Go fuck yourself. And then they'd hang up, and you're like, all right. I hate my life more than I did before I started the shift, more than I did when I took this job. Like it's just an escalation and
Hey,
just
you're
being
starting
miserable.
ahead of the game on that call because they were so like sheepish about telling you no that they lied to you and now you're in this position.
It's
So
true.
like they have to either like break the cycle and actually tell someone no or fork over the money.
Yeah.
What was the percentage would you say that of people that actually said they would do it?
Oh my god, dude. I don't know. I think by the time we were making calls to have people commit to their pledges, it was not good. It was just call after call after call of just being dunked on. And nothing was worse than like, I mean, you would call all over the country, but if your hour like there was a time of day where you knew like, look, I'm working at 5 o'clock. I know for a fact if I hit a West Coast person, they're eating dinner and they're going to just like speak curses into a voodoo doll that they'll give my name and just stab it relentlessly. Like it they were so hateful. If you called someone during dinner, man, that was the most hateful things I've ever heard in my life. Is just the response of someone you called. It's like you didn't have to answer the phone. Like this is more your problem. It's like when you hear your cell phone buzz now and you're like you just stop listening to the people around you and engaging in the real world just to see what that notification is. That's your fucking problem. And that was like phone ringing at dinner time for boomers during peak telemarketing hours. It's like it's the same fucking thing.
Oh man. But now see, now knowing what you know now and being like the midlife cynic that we are, wouldn't you love to just go spend a day calling boomers and trying to weasel them out of money for police departments?
Now, dude, they probably do pretty well now. The
Oh,
problem is if you could hit, I don't, I actually wonder how that industry works now because there's so few landlines.
can we do one?
Yeah,
Let's just do one. Okay. I'll be the
no,
salesperson.
not no, this is insanity.
It'd be so fun.
I'm so mad at you for
I'll
putting
be
this
the
on.
salesman, you be the home audience, the
Do I like
target.
do I like cops or do I hate them? I'm a
Yeah,
boomer. I love cops.
you're a boomer.
Yeah, all right. I'm a boomer. Let me get into it. Boomer mode. All right.
Okay, so we had some technical difficulties, but Sam is going to be a boomer at home watching Matlock reruns, and I am a salesman or a telemarketer calling to just milk the money out of him. Okay, bring
Hello.
Mr. Samuelson.
Yeah, who's asking?
Oh, this is Casey Gresseth calling on behalf of the Fraternal Order of Wichita Police. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. How you cops doing out there?
Well, I hope I'm not interrupting anything
It's a
important,
rough
but
time for cops out there. I keep hearing all this stuff on the news about how tough it is for cops and all these uh all these young kids just don't respect cops these days. You doing
oh,
all
I'm
right? Are you
I'm
staying
I'm
safe
sh-
out there,
you know
brother?
every day is a new set of challenges for sure. But we are soldiering on. The men and women who put on that badge every day and risk their lives to keep you safe. We're keeping the faith and we're holding the fire. That's for
Well,
sure. But
I
you know
appreciate
what,
that.
Mr.
I just,
Samuelson,
I
we
just
we
no.
need your help.
Let me say this real quick. I just got my thin blue line uh, yard ornament. What is it? You need to put the little stakes in the ground. I got that. I
A
got that
a,
from
a
sending
yard
in my
sign?
yeah my yard sign for sending in. Yeah, I saved up all my Bud Light box tops, and I was able to get one sent to me in the mail. So
Well,
I
Mr.
I back
Samuelson,
the
I'm
boys.
I'm happy to hear that you're a great American and a true patriot, and I appreciate your support for the police, but the police need your support more than ever right now with what's going on.
Absolutely,
The
I back the boys.
there are factions within this country, and I don't think I have to tell you what color they run, but there are blue factions in this country that want to outlaw freedom and outlaw law enforcement. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
So
I
now more.
my daughter's dating a black man, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, now more than ever, we need to count on your support of people like you, great Americans like you, Mr. Samuelson, and I'll tell you what, our men and women in blue, those brave men and women that put on the uniform every day and stand in front of bullets so that you can go down to the department store and buy your lottery scratchers with total confidence that you're going to be safe. Those men and women, they need your help, and they need help of a financial variety.
Well, I'm happy. I'm always here to support the police. Whatever you need, you just tell me. I'm happy to do it. You need me to go down there and shake your hands? Do you need me to wear a pin on my blue collar? I
I would
I
really appreciate that, Mr. Samuelson. And it's funny that you bring up pins because with a recurring donation of $19.99 or more per month, we are
mm,
sending out a First Amendment freedoms protect the innocent commemorative lapel pin, and that goes to all of our ongoing subscribers that support the police in a perpetual nature.
$20 a month. That is that's cheaper than my Netflix subscription. Netflix, we know goddamn well isn't keeping me or this country safe. You know what Netflix? Do you know they have an entire section on Netflix for LGBTQ It's a whole category for LGBTQ media. I don't look. This country is just it's not what it used to be, and I'm happy to pay that $20 a month and wear that lapel pin.
I don't know exactly what they're doing on Netflix because, I just watched season 1 of Homeland over and over again in a loop. But I believe it. I believe that there's just that kind of filth on Netflix. And it's funny you should say that. It is a small sacrifice to make a perpetual donation, but for $99.95 perpetual donation or more per month, we are also sending out, in addition to the lapel pin, we are sending out our bumper sticker, which shows that first and foremost, you support our men and women in blue. Can
Oof.
I
Well,
count on you? Can the men and women of Wichita PD, can they count on your perpetual $99.95
I
donation?
do support, but an extra $70 a month for one bumper sticker is a lot. Is there any way you could throw in like the full series of The Shield with Michael Chiklis? If you guys have that on deck, I'm here for it because you can't get that anywhere anymore, and I think that's worth. I think that'd be worth it, and I mean that's a goddamn good cop show, right? You know, they,
Absolutely.
there's a little bit of bend in the rules, but it's for the greater good, and I always appreciate that. Unless, of course, is there a bumper sticker that comes with a DUI immune? Be immune. Can I be immune from getting pulled over for DUI? Is
Well,
there
look,
anything you can
Mr.
do for me?
Samuelson, I can't promise you anything, but I'll tell you this: our men and women in law enforcement, they take care of those who take care of them. I'll just
Mm.
say that. If you do plan to drive drunk, it's it's not going to hurt your case to have a Wichita Fraternal Order of Police sticker, on your vehicle. And while we don't have copies of the Shield, we do have seasons 1992 through 1998 of Cops available for free digital download to all of our
Whew.
donation our contributors who pledge up to $149.95 per month
That's
in
pretty good. I mean,
perpetuity.
that's before the woke years, so I'm
Oh,
sold.
don't I know it? Don't
I'm
I know
sold.
it?
You can count on me for that 99.95 per month. I would before the woke years, yeah, I would have loved the Shield, but I get that bumper sticker that prevents me from getting DUIs. I'm already, I do. I go through a 12 pack of Bud Light a night. I could use the extra protection. You could use my support. I think this all
Well,
really works out
hey,
well.
99.95 per month is very generous, and that shows a lot of support. But let me ask you this: are you a married man, Mr. Samuelson?
Yeah, I'm on my fifth marriage now. Yep.
Do, do you and your wife, do you guys always get along?
Oh no, that bitch is such a fucking cunt. Sorry.
Well, for two
I
forty nine ninety
overplayed that.
five a month, we
You
can
know,
we can give you the bumper sticker that
you drink too
immunizes you
much.
from domestic abuse charges. This bit
That
is blown.
it was an accident. She ran into my. It was an accident. She ran into my fist bumper sticker.
Yeah, it's just like a police logo, and it's got like, "What do you tell women with two black eyes? Oh, you're nothing. You told her twice already." It's just got that on the back of your car. That's what you
Yeah,
get.
perfect.
just
You're like, she shows up to work. They're like, where'd you get that double black eye? She's like, well, my all my doors have two doorknobs.
it's like that's like a joke that your uncle that you're not supposed to be alone with tells you.
Yeah,
They're like, don't don't sit on Uncle Ben's lap, okay?
yeah, that's that.
He's got something like that to tell you.
That's the my bitch ex-wife uncle. Yeah. Everyone has one of those. Shit.
All right, well, we did that.
Yeah. Against my will, but we did it.
Okay, so I have been dying since we did since a couple weeks ago we cracked into the list of God, I'm trying to remember what is the name of the network
Oh,
that we were talking
Great American
Family.
Media, right? Great American Media? Gam.
Great American Family is the name of the company, but so it's a new TV channel or streaming service that's specifically aimed at people who think that Hallmark has leaned to the left a little too hard with their programming.
Yeah. A little to the left. And look, if you go back and listen to the episode a couple weeks ago, it's obvious subtext. Um, oh, it's funny because I know that it's GAC, but it's not. It's like GAC, like doing business as Great American Media, or It's Great American Media. That's what it is. Um, and they're just more committed to family values than even Hallmark is. And we were going through the roster because there was like how many movies was it? I wish I should have been a little bit better prepared for that.
Oh, I
But
think it was 21
yeah,
or
20, yeah, it was
23. It was in the
20, 21.
20s.
Yeah, it was. And
New movies.
so Candace Cameron Bure is the one who like really signed on, like she signed on to participate in this company. Into just like they're breaking the record for putting out the most Christmas movies, essentially. We got a little bit more into the backstory of it, but and that last episode that just Casey and I did. So we were going through every one of the movies that's coming out for Christmas and when they're going to air. So far, the first one we're going to start with is going to air on November 24th. So we are still ahead of time, and you will be able to catch all of these as they air.
I am on
There's
the did you know that you can access this through PureFlix?
I was while I was trying to like pull up some information on it, I just Googled it and saw that it was part of a PureFlix subscription. That's fucking crazy awesome. That's
For
perfect.
$5.84 a month, but like any great company, it doesn't bill you monthly.
That means
it's
despite.
it's you get a free trial and then you're billed $70. So you have to pay a whole year in advance.
That's awesome. Actually, that's perfect because they know most people won't cancel. They it that is actually what's so funny about it is they've been questioned in the media about why they feel the need to move in the direction they did and shift away from Hallmark. And they're like, well, we're not saying we're not going to have LGBTQ friendly shows or movies, but like, we're not saying that. Who knows what the future holds? But they just align themselves with PureFlix, and I think it's pretty safe to say that PureFlix will guarantees that they're not going to have any LGBTQ content on their network. But so each one of these movies we were just reading through, there's like a 1 or 2 sentence blurb about the plot. So we were a couple weeks ago just reading through these and having a good time talking about them. So
Can I
today we just
read
want to
you
finish that out.
can I read you their pledge?
Yeah, I don't know it, so I'm excited.
Well, it says, "Our pledge to you. Great American PureFlix is committed to bringing you quality movies and programs that celebrate faith, family, and hometown values. With Great American PureFlix, you can stream clean anytime,
Clean.
anywhere.
Do,
Hometown values."
do you think that all right, so PureFlix is
What if you're from
PU.
Beirut? What if you're
I
from
mean,
Gaza?
they don't care. This is for, uh this is for just your average American home. They're not interested in anything outside of this country. I think So Pureflix is Pureflix. I'd be curious, and I may do a search for it just to validate for research purposes. Is there like just a Pureflix domain that like I'm curious as to whether or not people just like ripped domain names adjacent to Pureflix for the purpose of setting up porn. I would feel like if anyone would
There's
be a
got to be
target for
something
that, it would
close.
be Pureflix. If anyone decides to do their own research, go ahead and let us know. You can message us on our Instagram page, and I will for sure get back to you.
I get my
Um,
phone from my company, so I can't
well,
I can't research like that.
that's because your company puts Covenant eyes on your phone, right? Just like that,
Right.
just like our the new Republican Speaker of the House and his son have their little accountability buddy Covenant eyes situation set up. Did you see that?
No.
Fuck. All right, we'll save that for next week. That is funny as shit, dude. All right, let's get into this though, because you know, time is of the essence. All right, My Christmas Hero. This one is actually starring Candace Cameron Bure and Gabriel
Oh,
Hogan. And Candace is married, and I'm wondering if her acting sensibilities allow her to do a kissing scene with Gabriel.
what is
But
it? My Christmas Hero?
yeah, you can already guess what this is
Is it
going to be
Jordan
about.
Peterson?
No,
It's Santa Claus shows up and it's just Jordan Peterson there to measure your skull.
yeah, he just in Jordan Peterson esque chalking. He's like the children. We're worried about the children.
These
This
bloody
is
liberals.
yeah, it's they don't want to put Christ in Christmas. An Army Reserve doctor, which is Candace, tracks down her family's military history with the help of a new romance. Well, sounds awful.
Her family's history?
Yeah, she's an Army Reserve doctor. Army Reserve, look, no. Maybe that joke's a bridge too far. Her tracks
Yeah, it's
down her.
Veterans Day,
I
so
know.
whatever you're gonna say, let's
uh,
measure it.
yeah, I'll walk that back a little bit.
Does her family's history involve, I don't know, a big white 2-story house in like southern Alabama?
That was bought with the GI Bill, while the neighboring black family who served 20 years in the military got nothing. uh, So her family's military history with the help of a new. So okay, she meets this guy. Let's track down my family. Like that's what's so cute. Is like, it's not just typical family stuff. This that makes sense. It's coming. This one comes out November 24th, just past Veterans Day. It's like let's have a Christmas movie with a Veterans Day theme, where it's not your typical like let's track down my family history. It's strictly about military history.
It's
It's
World War
interesting
II.
to think the idea that it goes that like military families go that far back. I mean, I guess they do. I guess you could say that every my father and my grandfather and my grandfather's father, they were all United States Marines, whatever.
Well,
Maybe you
it's
find
it's
value in that.
definitely from, like, the history that they draw upon is definitely probably, I would assume it's from World War II, the Civil War, or possibly like the Revolutionary War.
I bet
It's
it
one of
goes
those
back.
three. Like, it's not like, the Spanish American War. Like, my great great grandfather like rounded up civilians in the Philippines,
Yeah, it goes.
or
Yeah,
like
I
my
bet
my
it.
great great grandfather was was a, was a part of a massacre in like Vietnam.
Yeah,
So he was at my life.
I don't know. I bet it goes back to that cool story that in the Civil War that we always heard about, where like on Christmas Day they stopped fighting to exchange gifts before they blew each other's brains out 12 hours later.
Oh yeah, the
That's
old
so
World
beautiful.
War
That's
One
a
story,
beautiful story.
dude.
You know, Christ is so beautiful. Christmas is so beautiful. They actually stopped killing each other for a full 24 hours to exchange gifts and shake hands and drink eggnog and laugh. And then as soon as the time ran out, They just point blank put revolvers to each other's skulls and blew each other's fucking brains out. Beautiful. It was a
Well,
beautiful Christmas, and it really reminds you of the true spirit of Christmas.
you don't know that story, I think. I guess.
I doubt I'm getting it
Well,
wrong.
it's a testament to the fact that like the normal dudes on the ground that were having to do all the killing didn't want to do it. It was upper management basically like forcing them at gunpoint to kill each other is kind of
Uh,
the
it,
the
it was
thing
a
behind it.
that's okay. That rings a lot of what's it is World War II kind of like. I mean, well, it was a command. What was I supposed to do?
Yeah, dude, I oh my god, something that's just been like just a brainworm that I can't get rid of is like, have you seen the previews for the new like Steven Spielberg World War II series that's coming out?
No, I haven't.
It's called like Masters of the Sky or Masters of the Air, but it's kind of like a Band of Brothers type thing that follows pilots in World War II. And we're like going through Netflix the other day, turn on Netflix, and immediately, like, the first thing that pops up is like another World War II something or other with Mark Ruffalo and Nazi. Dude, everything, every single thing that they produce is oh, Nazi Germany, Nazi Germany, Nazi Germany, Nazi Germany. It's like, because that's the clean conflict.
It's the
Like that's
cleanest
the
in
one that like, well,
history,
the bad
American
guys are
history.
irredeemable and we don't have to like that we don't have to give like any sort of like perspective here or anything on it. Like it's just that side was bad. We killed them. We're good. That's it. Like, and they only ever cover like the European theater. Like they don't cover anything in, the Pacific theater, which, you know, I mean, you want to just like compare notes on like atrocities, like Imperial Japan, what they did to China, every bit as bad as what the Germans did in, to Jews throughout Europe and like to all sorts of different communities. But like, you never really see anything about that. And then like every other conflict, like none of them are clean like World War II is, where there's like this clear cut bad guy. So like we just keep getting these like Hollywood stylized, romanticized series about World War II as if like,
Oh yeah,
man, remember when we were the good guys and it was indisputable at one time when like we went and slayed the dragon and this and that and the other. Like, well, I know that's only half the conflict. We don't have to talk about the other half, where we nuked a couple of cities and this and that
yeah.
and the other. Like, it's God, it makes me, I just, it's hard to stomach, like,
That's why I
knowing,
can't do any of that stuff. It's not for me. I can't do any war, anything. I don't find it an entertaining form of film or media at all. Nothing about it sticks out to me. I remember I liked it when I was younger. I watched Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, the one where Mel Gibson degloved somebody's leg after they got burnt in a fucking firebomb campaign.
oh, yeah, we were soldiers.
We Were Soldiers. That one fucking that is that one stuck out to me more than
Do you know
anything.
that, in the Korean War, we killed 20% of the population of North Korea.
Holy shit.
I'm saying 20% of the population of North Korea died in the Korean War.
That's crazy,
We
dude.
dropped, I mean, just an insane amount of bombs on a country that had no air force. Like that's the thing though, is like you don't get movies about that. I mean, you did back then when it was like post 9/11 and everything was rah rah America, put the yellow sticker on your car, or this and that and the other. And like there's nothing, it's not that like you can't appreciate like what soldiers did during those things, and like it is admirable, like the things that they did and like the fact that they made sacrifices and stuff like that to go fight in these foreign theaters and whatnot. But like it's irritating to me that there's like one conflict where we can paint this like romantic picture of how great we were and slaying the bad guy and stuff like that. When like, God, ever since then, like we've been at war basically since the end of World War II. They don't produce anything about any of the other conflicts because they're not clean and they're not tidy, and so they don't make a
Black
good
Hawk
Marvel
Down.
movie. Yeah, post 9/11, that's a great, you could just skip all of the like cliff notes on like the background info on all of those conflicts at that point, but you can't do that anymore.
No.
I don't know. I should just shut up, but like it's
We
just
have more
irritating to
Christmas
me. It's
movies to talk
like
about.
every time I turn on Netflix, there's like another World War II thing about Nazis, and it's like, God, you guys, like freaking Hollywood, can you give it a rest?
It sells, dog. That's how I feel about Marvel movies. I mean,
That's why in Star Wars, you only shoot stormtroopers with masks on or aliens. Like they never kill like or very rarely it's an event if you kill someone that has like no mask on and they show their face and they're a human. Like only really the bad guys are the only ones that really do that regularly. Everybody else is like a nameless, faceless blob that you don't have to feel anything about. You don't have to think about the ramifications of what. It's just I don't know. I go on forever, but like,
are you ready for another
anyways, tell me
Christmas
about a
movie?
Christmas movie.
All right. Here we go. A royal date for Christmas. And surprise, it doesn't have anything to do with the royal family. It's starring Danica McKellar and Damon Runyon. Runyon rhymes with Funyon.
Wow,
Uh, when
Hollywood
a
A-listers.
when a European duke arrives in the United States, he realizes, oh my God, that his bags have been lost in transit. He has no choice but to be styled and ultimately inspired by Bella, the owner of a local boutique. He's a
Because they
duke.
lost his comb.
This duke lost his bags, and instead of using his giant ass fucking fortune because he's a duke to get a decent hotel and have clothes tailored to his exact size delivered to his penthouse suite, he goes to some like I'm guessing some like mid-level middle America type like boutique where she styles him
Brushes
somehow.
his teeth.
Yeah. Is it to be styled? Is that, I'm guessing maybe he's going to get a new suit from this person. Like, I'm guessing styled has to do with getting some suits tailored. Maybe it doesn't say
Is it like
tailored.
a roadside
Is
massage
he getting a
parlor where they
haircut?
like sponge bathe you on a
Yeah,
table?
he goes to get styled and ultimately inspired by a happy ending. Well,
I
that's
wonder how this royal that's like too cheap to buy
royal
a new
just the
like
tips.
stick of deodorant. Like, does he actually pay her, or is like his presence and going on a date? Like, is that literally the only way that she could get paid was to like pretend to marry him?
Yeah, he obviously sparks fly, and he asks her out, and uh, she's totally infatuated by his European accent and his excessive amount of wealth. So she agrees to go to an Outback Steakhouse with him.
Man, remember when this used to be like there was a few actresses that made this movie over and over again, like Jennifer Lopez and Reese Witherspoon and Goldie Hawn's daughter. I can't think of what her name is. Kate.
Han.
Ah, yeah, I don't know. There was like such a rash of these movies though, like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and Made in Manhattan and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Unforgiven.
Okay, I
I
have,
don't
dude.
know.
I, dude, I actually thought I lost you for a second. So I have like the movies up in front of me, and when you went silent, I was like, I had to go back to the video feed. I'm like, did I lose Casey? All right, ready? Here we go. This one is not notable, nothing to have fun with. This is boring as fuck. Period piece type shit. Not period piece. That would be like 1800s. This is just spanning generations. God
They
damn, this
don't
is
have the
boring.
budget for that.
It's starring Natasha Burr, which makes me think that perhaps this is like Candace getting her children roles in movies because, generational wealth and and all that fun stuff. It's like you don't have to, it's like Will Smith's kids getting acting roles. Like there's no reason for that. They never would have been able to had they not been born into the right family. Real fun stuff
I
like
think the
that.
Smiths consider that family therapy to
Yeah.
make like a piece of garbage blockbuster together.
God. Uh, though Christmas for the Ages, prompted by their youngest granddaughter, 4 generations celebrate family and what Christmas was like in the 40s, 60s, 90s, and present day. I can't think of something that sounds more fucking boring than that. Because this is going to be what? 2 hours plus commercials. And you're going to span 6, 7, 8 decades. 8 decades of Christmas and what it's like and all the it's like you're going to squeeze it into 90 minutes of discount Hallmark. God damn, that's going to be awful.
It's like, because the little girl's like, Grandpa, what was your first Christmas with Grandma like? And he's like, well, I was a guard at an internment camp, and your grandma was Japanese.
This next one's really exciting for me because I didn't know that I haven't heard this name in quite some time. But the next one is Christmas on Windmill Way. But it is starring,
Somehow sounds more boring.
yeah, it's starring Chad Michael Murray. He was one of the characters. He was one of the actors in One Tree Hill for
Man,
the
what else was he
7,000
in?
seasons. One Tree Hill.
I
I
know
don't know
that
what
name,
else.
but is that just from him being a dreamboat?
Yeah, he was. He was a handsome man. I look him up. I just looked him up.
Why does
Uh,
nobody ever refer to women as dreamboats?
he was in Freaky. Wow. He was in Freaky Friday, A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff, Gilmore Girls, House of Wax. He did some horror movies.
Oh, dude, this is like our generation of like teen content here.
Yeah, yeah. But so he's in this. It's and the plot is that to save her family's legacy windmill, a woman must remind her ex-boyfriend, Michael Murray, of the best of their hometown. So I'm guessing Michael is some like real estate tycoon that wants to take over their struggling windmill. He's about to foreclose on them, and this woman, Taylor Brown, has to suck his dick so he doesn't ruin the family legacy. That's I
What
get
kind of windmill is this?
I I get that it's family friendly, but like let's be real, if the woman has to remind her ex-boyfriend of the best of the hometown so he doesn't come in and destroy the legacy of their hometown windmill, he's that has power over vibes big time. That has
Yeah,
not great. Not
he's
great. But we
he's
can
her
make it
ticket out
romantic.
of there,
We'll make it romantic.
dude. What? Okay, so what kind of windmill could this be? This can't be a modern windmill that's like, you know, a power generation device, unless
No,
it's
Brian's
like
grain, dude.
powering a giant like neon All Lives Matter sign.
It's the one windmill in town that still functionally grinds grain, and without it, they don't get to eat bread in their town forever.
But without the windmill, how will I get my bone meal?
It single handedly keeps Wonder Bread in business. All
Oh
right,
man, this sounds awful. I hate this like feel goody
yeah,
garbage.
this sucks. All of these suck. I feel like we need a rapid fire around these at this
Okay.
point. All right, next one. The jingle. The titles are just so bad. Oh, Christmas on Windmill Way airs on Saturday, December 2nd. Gear up. Jingle Bell Jubilee airs Sunday, December 3rd.
Oh,
And
by far the worst name so far. That
yes,
is
Jingle
terrible.
Bell Jubilee. Something tells me that this Jubilee isn't the one where they eliminate all debts and free the slaves in as in the biblical sense of Jubilee. But we'll find out. A city manager. Oh, the city manager employs slaves, and he's going to have to let them go. I bet that's what's going to happen. A city manager recruits the help of a childhood friend in setting right his town's Christmas charity event, while she sets to work setting him up with her close friend.
What do you think kind of charity event is it?
It's, I mean, it's a Christmas charity. They're giving presents to underprivileged kids, for sure.
I guess I was thinking more like sweepstakes.
They're
That's what I
giving
had in my head. Like the person who kisses this, tracker bass boat the longest gets to keep it. Whoever drinks the most water without dying gets a free like PlayStation 5.
What the fuck? I mean, if anything, it's a free turkey dinner. It's a, I mean, unless they make a bunch of orphans brawl for the best gifts. Maybe that's the case. I just saw this news story about these two people who ran a daycare. They worked for a daycare and they were arrested because they were making toddlers fight each other.
Dude, I've for sure seen that news story before in the past. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
is that an epidemic? Are
It's
daycares just like mini fight clubs? Because
clearly
if
repetitive. So maybe that's the
I
charity
would,
event. Just
I'd watch that.
kids fighting so that way their parents it's like the kids in it, their parents work for the city manager, and he makes the children fight so their parents can have Christmas Day off and they can have a family time together.
That's actually fun because it's like the heritage of it. You could do a flashback where like their grandpas used to like raise chickens to fight each other, but now like that's inhumane. We got to have toddlers like do MMA.
You got it, man. Oh god, I just lost my
I want to be the Michael Vick of like first graders.
Michael. So you can like apologize and jumpstart your career 5 years later, and that's the payoff.
I don't want it to be like a
Everyone
karate
forgives you
match
because
though.
you're good at throwing, catching a ball or whatever the fuck.
How fun would it be to have like a mini coliseum with nothing but like kindergartners in there, and you give them traditional weapons like one guy gets a chariot with like the sword wheels and the other guy gets a net and a trident, and you
But
just kind of
instead,
let
you
them
like pump,
go at it.
you pump house cats with adrenaline and put lion's manes on them.
That's a situation you could easily lose control of, though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would be really frightened of a
Dude,
house cat
if
like
you
that.
if you put me in a pit with like two house cats pumped full of adrenaline, I would be scared for my life, dude.
If you could train a cat to attack intruders, it would be so much more intimidating than like a guard dog.
Yeah, dude. Oh
Dude,
god, that'd be
if
so
somebody if
sick.
somebody
Guard
broke your
cats? Hell yeah.
window, they like reach through, unlock the door, and step into your foyer, and the first thing they hear is
Yeah.
"Whoa." They're like, "What is that?" "Whoa." Dude, they're getting out of
That
there.
deep
Nobody's
guttural
sticking
meow.
around.
Yeah, that'd be so sick.
I love that idea.
All right, Casey, meet me under the mistletoe. This is fun. I honestly, this feels like it
Time
should
and
be.
place.
I hope that they take this and they turn it into an HGTV original series. This is two rival realtors are forced to work together to sell one special house before Christmas. And I bet you anything that those two rival realtors end up falling in love. That's boring as fuck.
Yeah, that sounds awful. Who wants to hear from realtors right now? It's
Yeah.
like middle of a housing crisis, everything's super inflated. Like it's just like 220 somethings like listening to Jocko Willnick and fighting over who gets to sell like a starter box for $600,000.
Yeah, like this is a one bedroom, one bath starter home for $750,000 in downtown Los Angeles. And if we sell this together, we get to fuck. That's a Great family story.
Right on the front step. You split commission and then you split them cheeks.
uh,
What was your idea of mistletoe when you were like a kid?
oh, I mean that you're supposed to kiss under it. I thought. I mean, I knew what it was. It was just, but I thought it was weird.
Did you think that
You know
like
what's crazy?
someday there might be some hanging over a door and you might get to kiss the girl that you liked? She might
No,
have to
dude.
kiss
I
you
was
for tradition's sake.
I think I was legitimately worried about that as a concept, like the embarrassment feel. Because if you were standing under a doorway and there was mistletoe, and the girl, even if I liked her and I was like young enough, I would have been like if I was 12, and it was like people pointed out, "Oh, the mistletoe, you got a kiss," I would have just shat myself with anxiety. It would have been the worst feeling ever. Like I wouldn't have committed to it. I wouldn't have gone for it, even if she would have been like, I guess we got to. I would have chickened out. That would have been
Just like
the
your
world's
Uncle Ben
biggest
from
nightmare.
earlier, like chugs over there and pulls you underneath.
Yeah. Gotta kiss your uncle.
How much worse is the idea of like him like
Yikes.
grabbing you and doing like a dip like a ballroom dancer and
Is there something you're trying to tell us about your childhood, Casey?
absolutely nothing.
We got 4 more movies. Let's do
All
these. Here
right,
we go.
powering through.
Peppermints and Post. The names are getting progressively worse. Peppermints and Postcards, starring Ella Cannon and Christopher Russell.
The
When I
worst kind of candy meets the worst kind of mail.
That's it, dude.
Circus peanuts and Jiffy Lube ads.
It's like it's circus peanuts and prayer chain emails. Uh,
Come down to Smithville Ford and see if this key unlocks.
it's it's a letter from your local dealership telling you that you could get up to $70,000 for your 2007 Honda Civic. You show up and it's like, well, we said you could get up to, but
Yeah, maybe. We didn't know that you didn't buy the factory floor mats.
oh, you did miss that one oil change at 30,000 miles.
Dude, the ploy from like the junk mail dealers now is to send you a little gift. Like, I don't know what April gave money to, but we get like 3 times a week we get like a letter from some like wildlife charity, and they send us like pages and pages of those little like ready-made address stickers to put on letters. We have a lifetime supply of those from like the World Wildlife Fund or something like that. You know, like 15 different wildlife charities, and like I'm never giving them anything. And like I wish I could call someone and tell them like no one sends letters anymore, dude. Like
They,
we don't. Nobody needs these.
I can't
I'm just
imagine a
gonna throw.
return.
If you keep sending me these, I'm gonna make a special trip to throw them in the ocean.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna find a turtle and I'm gonna get a toothpick and I'm gonna shove it up that turtle's nose.
What is peppermints and postcards about?
Okay. It's it, I don't actually get it. I really don't. It's when a Christmas letter concerning her love life. Sorry. Whoa. Restart. The inflection wasn't correct. When a Christmas letter concerning her love life goes viral, one mom discovers that romance might be right at her door.
Is this
That
like a
means nothing,
revenge
dude.
porn thing?
Yeah. That doesn't mean anything. So
That's the only thing that goes viral about someone's love life now.
yeah,
It's like your
she's
angry
a
ex posted your penis pictures
no,
on
she's
smut.com or something.
she's a teacher in one of her 11th grade students found out she has an OnlyFans.
That has to happen. That
I
has to
just
happen pretty often
I
now.
no, yeah, regularly. I just saw an article about how so there was in my area ish, I guess, there was a news story about a teacher who had an OnlyFans, and she was still teaching and doing OnlyFans because OnlyFans was supplemental income. But when the news story broke, it it goes out to everyone. And since in the last like 7 or 8 months since the news story broke, I saw an article about how she's made over $1 million. She's made over $1 million in OnlyFans since
Oh my god.
since the story broke. So it's like that. I mean, the best thing that could
What
happen
is
to
this
you.
hell that we live in?
I know the the absolute best thing that could happen to you is to get caught as a teacher with your OnlyFans.
Just clown country.
I love it.
That's what this place is.
It's America, dude. This is the American dream. You forge your own path, dude. All right,
Oh,
3 more. Designing Christmas with the names. Designing Christmas with You is the actual title of a movie.
it's the same as the real estate one, but they're interior designers.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're architects competing for a bid on a new skyscraper. With her career on the line, a decorator must work with an unexpected partner to showcase a house for an upcoming Christmas gala. So they can presumably sell it, just like the last movie. You were pretty spot on that it was just like the last.
What do you think's so unexpected about him?
He's a schlub.
Maybe he has like an ankle monitor.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what could be unexpected. I feel like these are the most predictable kinds of movies that have ever existed. So,
He's Brendan
unexpected
Fraser
for
from The Whale.
predictable. That's it, dude. It's unexpected is that he's like 30 pounds overweight and not a total 10. He looks like Kevin James in that little meme that's going around forever. That's what's so unexpected.
He was one of those Show Bob's guys from Instagram. He commented on her OnlyFans picture. Show Vagine.
He just has an Instagram page dedicated to reviewing action figures.
He does unboxing videos for vapes.
Yeah. He's one of the he does vape tricks.
You think he drives a Chrysler 300? Almost
I mean,
guaranteed, right?
if not, like the absolute opposite, he's driving a Jeep Wrangler, a 4-door Jeep. No, what's the Jeep truck? He drives that for
Gladiator.
certain. Yeah.
Ugh.
If you own one of those, you vape 100% of the time.
And
All right.
for our Jeep Gladiator driving vape audience, you can butt chug vapes, right? You just have to learn to pull rather than push. It's like a trumpet player.
I'm not sure I'm with you on that. I've never.
I've been watching. You know what
You
I've been
suck
watching?
air into your butthole. I get it. I just don't know. I'm curious. I guess I have a lot of questions.
Well, it takes a lot of muscle control. You know, that's just
More. It feels like it'd be more of a relaxation thing, but
it's less of a hobby and more of a discipline. That's what I would say.
that's how you. That's how you meditate. You just open your
Yeah,
butt cheeks
I
and
just try
suck
to
air into your butthole.
pull Diet Mountain Dew in rectally.
That's your meditation process is like just peaceful sucking air up your asshole. Gets you ready to start the day.
I
All
just
right.
listened to. Okay. So, real quick, fun fact. So, I've been watching a lot of old episodes of Survivor Man with Les
Survivor
Stroud.
Man,
Yeah,
not Survivor, like the game show Survivor Man, a different
Survivor
show.
Man. He's like if Bear Grylls wasn't a turd.
Fraud.
He like goes out in the wilderness by himself and survives, and he's like, I only packed a broken flashlight, 2 pieces of tissue paper, and this like bubble gum.
And a sock to come in.
Exactly, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
But if you're very dehydrated in a survival situation, you can butt chug water and rehydrate that way. And because you're not drinking it, like it can be somewhat dirty water, like rather I don't know what extent this is, so don't try it at home until you do research, right? But like
Do your
if
own
you
research.
if you can't boil the water and you don't know like that it's completely clean, you can butt chug it. I am only marginally certain that this is true, but
Dude, I gotta.
I
I
will
do want to
try it.
look up this because my only real understanding of butt chugging, or the first time I heard about butt chugging, was in relation to alcohol because it gets you drunk faster.
Yes, don't do that.
I don't. I don't know that. I don't know anything about whether or not that's true. That could be a myth for all I know. Um,
No, it's true. People
but
soak
like,
tampons in them and then put them in their butts, and sometimes they die
holy
from
shit!
alcohol poisoning.
It's weird that your body that just above your sphincter sucks in all that like moisture, because I feel like the moisture separation happens earlier on, as like, some stuff is filtered and you end up having to pee, and the solids are pushed through your colon, and then eventually you shit. So like, I'm curious as to like, if you don't shit for a while, I get that you could get constipated, but I don't feel like you're like really dehydrating your shits that bad by not shitting. So like, I'm very curious about this from a medical perspective, and I
Look,
do
I,
want to
I
look into
get
it
that you
more.
want to ask questions, and I respect the fact that you want to learn more. But I'm telling you that now is not the time for me to answer those
I
questions.
think
That's
what
that's
we
what I
really
would tell
need
you.
is to get we need to find a proctologist who is willing to come on the podcast to answer these questions.
What what items are safe for me to for rectal inhalation?
That actually would be fascinating. I would love to talk to a proctologist about this. Maybe I'll start looking out and see if I can find one.
What okay, top of your head, what like potable, safe to consume items would be the least what would you be least likely to butt chug?
Least likely? I mean, I would only pick something that was advantageous to the scenario. So like, if I wanted to get drunk, it seems like butt chugging alcohol would be a good move. Can you you know, stick a nugget of weed up your asshole and get high? I mean, I have a
I
lot
think
of
you have to
questions.
smoke it, right? Like you have to smoke it in order to get the to access the nutrients.
I guess so. I mean, but you can eat it. You can eat it and get high. Can you stick it in your
But you have to
asshole?
like bake it, right? You can't just like eat a flower and then get high off of it. Like you have to. It's about them cannabinoids, and you got to cook them.
Yeah, you
Apparently,
got to extract the oils. I don't know, dude. We're getting
just
too
say
in the
hot
weeds here.
sauce. What's wrong with you?
I don't even know. Fruit snacks. Fruit snacks. Just one at a time.
So, what
Grape.
kind of Christmas movies we got?
Grapefruit snacks. Least likely to butt chug grapefruit snacks. All right, two more. 12 Games of Christmas, starring Johnny Ramey and Felicia Cooper. In 12 Games of Christmas, a group of old friends and neighbors are transported into a Christmas themed board game during a Christmas party. Okay, it's
So
holiday
this is like,
Jumanji.
yeah, I was gonna say it's like a December lock-in Jumanji at the church.
What an insane concept. I mean, that's it. It's Jumanji for Christmas nerds who like family friendly content. I'm curious as to what happens at this Christmas themed board game. It's like Candyland. Is it Candyland? They have to walk through a fucking molasses swamp. Does any
Gloppy,
potential
dude. You don't want to get you don't want Gloppy catching you.
is there any potential risk to life, or is it all just fun and games where they just like fuck on a bed of gumdrops?
Dude, the licorice guy, he had like an Uncle Ben sort of energy to him. I would not sit on his lap.
I actually play Candyland pretty regularly because I'm an adjustment counselor for first and grade for preschool through first grade students, and we have some students that their whole objective and goal is to work on taking turns and not throwing things across the room when they lose. So we play Candyland regularly, and I don't actually know all the characters in it pretty well,
Be
but I'm going
careful,
to.
don't land on Lenny the licorice pedophile.
All right, let's roll this one out. Last one, a royal Christmas holiday. This is when like the prince
Didn't we already
whatever.
do this?
No, this is a different
Was
one.
this is the Duke that needed somebody to brush his teeth for him?
No, this is where like a creepy molesty prince has sex with your children.
He's got that Braveheart rule going on.
It's
He gets the first crack.
in search of her big break. Oh God, that's not a great way to start. If she's in
No.
search of her big break, I'm hoping she doesn't find it in all the wrong places. A reporter arranges a Christmas interview with a European prince visiting the States. Will the reporter's big story become her love story?
He's like maybe he's like Christian Grey meets Vlad the Impaler sort of character. And he's gonna put her through some sort of like hostile style you know, sexual obstacle course.
I think the most traditional thing about this network is they don't give a fuck about power dynamics. They're just they're just
They
fine.
really don't. Maybe that's the whole that's the crux of hometown values.
Yeah.
It's
It's fucking
like
your
some
getting fucked by your boss and thinking you fall in love because you're it's just a whole uh what's that called? What's Stockholm syndrome? It's romantic Stockholm syndrome, the media company.
yeah, it's what do I got to do to get the big scoop?
Yeah. Yikes. Well, that
That's
was fun.
exciting. Why? Okay, I will subscribe to this channel if they start making horror movies.
Oh my god,
That's
they
what
would be
I want.
so boring.
Like I would love to watch some like Christian horror movies. And I'm saying that, but I want to rule out preemptively all of the Rapture movies because that's been done to death.
I mean, Christian horror movies would be fine. I mean, they'd all be like, Rosemary's Baby and shit like that. It's just demon possession. You could argue that any demon movie, The Omen, whatever, that you could argue that's a Christian horror movie. That's what's so
I want to see it written by like fat Midwesterners though.
right. So at the end, like it's just like all the tropes that you would expect from growing up in evangelicalism.
Yeah, it's basically like Jason Aldean the movie.
Because right now, every horror movie related to demons and Christianity is always Catholic. I want to move it into like what? Oh my, not Episcopal. What's
Evangelical?
no the exuberant ones? Holy shit!
Oh, Pentecostal.
Thank you. Oh my god, my
That would be
brain just
really
shit the
exciting
bed.
because it'd be like, oh, this light socket's demon possessed, and they're like, no, you just blew a breaker,
Yeah,
and in the name of Christ, you flop the breaker, and boom, it starts working again. They live a horror movie every day.
they
They're
really
literally
do.
conquering demons like 3 times a day.
But I also feel, I mean, people getting slain in the spirit, you're just like, and they're trying to exorcise demons on the regular. It's like, it's not working. Bring in the snake. And then they just like try to like have a snake bite you. And then they pray over that. Like, there's just so much weird shit you could do if it was on the Pentecost, which, you know what? Okay. Here's a throwback. I guess we might be getting our first quote unquote Christian horror movie. Um, uh, Tyler Eaton, who did the horror movie about the youth pastors who were accidentally brought in a demon that Alyssa was in.
Oh yeah, Alyssa Saibo was in that. Did
Yeah,
that come out?
it hasn't yet, but I've been seeing some more stuff float around about it. I'm really excited for when it does. I know he's entered into some festivals and stuff like that. I'm really excited for whatever comes next, because we'll share a whole bunch about it. It seems like it should be somewhat soon. I don't know if the writers' strike and everything shutting down had anything to do with stopping things like that from happening. I know that was pre-writers' strike, but during the writers' strike, it felt like everything kind of just stopped. So
Yeah, the studios caved and put a Bowflex in the like break room at each of the studios or something.
but I forget what I'm kicking myself for not recalling the name of the movie right now.
There was a Jewish demon movie.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember what it was called, but it had Negan from The Walking Dead in it.
Mysterious Ways. Sorry, I just looked it up. I had to throw it out there. Mysterious Ways, written and directed by Tyler Eaton, um, and Alyssa Sabo. And I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Make some horror movies, Great American Family.
Yeah, they won't. They're
They will not.
scared. They're so scared.
Be like, what's happening to this country on a daily basis is horror movie enough
I
for
know.
me.
They like the first Great American Family media horror movie is just like a cop being held accountable for his actions.
We checked out issues of Cosmopolitan from the school library.
It's like a kid just checking out Goosebumps books.
Oh, so scary.
That's it.
Well, that was fun, and we wish Great American Family well. We hope this is a big success, and that
Hopefully we'll get Candace Cameron Bure on the podcast someday if our agents stop turning us down. That'd be nice.
who owns Great American Family? Is it? It's not Kirk Cameron.
No, it's not. It was someone who left Hallmark to open this thing. I'm not sure. I forget his name. We talked about it 2 weeks ago on the last episode we did.
If it's a big success, he's gonna buy Little St. James.
It won't be. This is not going to be a big thing. I mean, it'll make its money back and be what they want it to be. I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. I feel like they hedged him pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Well, if you like the podcast, share it with a buddy. Send it to your friends. We would really appreciate, any recommendations that you can give us to people you know. We were just talking. We were lamenting the fact that social media doesn't basically just promote the podcast on its own. It does not do that. So
No,
we're heavily reliant on people like you. If you like the show, sharing it with some friends of yours and spreading the good word. We do appreciate it.
we
You can
did
also
just get
leave
a
a
recent
review.
5-star review from we simped for it in the last couple of weeks. Someone did leave one. That means a lot. Don't let this person be the only one. Keep it going. We need those reviews, baby.
Yeah, jump in there.
Just
And
do it. It's easy.
you should join the Discord. You should do it. It's in our link tree on our Instagram profile. But come on in. The water's fine. Other than that, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.